I'm a little pissed. I'm a little upset. He doesn't look mad. He looks constipated. You look disgusting. You look cringe. Gross. Nasty. No. No. So, here's what we're doing. I'm a little tired, exhausted, upset, bothered, just in general. This is crazy. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about some things, because I'm a little bothered. I hate McDonald's employees. They deserve 10 cents an hour. What? Okay. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? Why is it, right? Let me tell you a little story, right? I'd be driving, right? Just driving around, you know, minding my own business. And some bastard in a Tesla decides to speed up all the way in front of me. Is weaving around traffic like he's Dominic Toretto in the Fast and the Furious. And all this just for us to be in traffic again. And for me to be right next to him. And then, after almost causing 5 accidents in the middle of traffic, I go to exit, and this dumb asshole decides to swerve right in front of me again. This wouldn't be the first time, and it's always the same type of car. And I don't understand why you do it. I don't understand why you don't signal. I don't understand why you don't, because there's no reason to. Especially if you do all that speeding, all that cutting me off, all that not allowing me to change lanes only for you to just sit there and end up at the same stop that I'm at. Congratulations, idiot. You were 5 seconds faster than me. We are now at the same place. You will be able to move 5 seconds before I do. You've almost killed 17 people, and now we're just hanging out at the same place. And the worst part is, if you hit that Tesla, it's so much worse for you. It's always worse. I blame the Fast and the Furious franchise. If it was the Fast and the Furious franchise fault, they would have been driving Dodge Chargers, because those cars live forever. Those cars live for 100 years, live forever, as Dominic Toretto's father once said. But, again, right, it's always that. It's always like you can tell what kind of person they are by the type of car they drive, but it's always like the same type of person in the Tesla, and like, you can't even hit them. You can't even hit them because your insurance goes up, and that car costs like thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars because you're part of Elon Musk's disgusting, like, what is it? What is the term for it called? Is his cult. But you know what's scarier than that? A Tesla getting hit is like throwing a rock at a window. It is, but like, again, it's a window that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if I don't want to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, I'm not gonna hit that Tesla. But let me know if you've ever encountered this one, right? This one's actually really interesting. Have you ever seen a white pickup truck, and it's always a white pickup truck with the American flag with the blue stripe, two of them hanging out the back? Truly God's strongest patriot we got going over here. Have you guys ever seen that kind of car? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's actually like, every time I see one of these white pickup trucks with two American flags, one of them with the blue stripe flying behind, I know I'm almost dead. I am most certainly almost dead. It's kind of terrifying, right? Because like, and like when you see inside, it's always like the same genre of guy, like, I can't say the one word because the VTuber fans might get mad at me. Fine, white guy with a base, like the same trucker hat every single time, right? So every single time. No, but it's okay. But it's always a white pickup truck. It's never any other color. Like, it's always like with an open bed too. To make they've modified that truck so that you can stick two flagpoles, one on the right, one on the left, so you can show off how American you are and how unsafe I feel when I drive around you, man. I pull into I don't know, an In-N-Out. I'm enjoying myself a nice 3x3. Oh god, it's America's strongest soldier here in the parking lot. What is he gonna do? And it's like, and I don't know why these guys in huge ass trucks drive like they're Dominic Toretto in a sports car that's tiny, made to maneuver. You are driving like tons of steel through the street for no reason. For no reason, right? That's how it feels to drive a Ford F-150. I actually drove a Ford F-150 once. I don't like it, especially when it's like raised. Oh my god, raised trucks? People who drive raised trucks, like, I feel like if you're driving a raised truck for any other purpose other than like using it to like move stuff, you just have it to have it. Honestly, I'm gonna pop your tires. I'm so sick of you. I'm gonna see the whole all 500 pounds of the waste of air you got in those tires go. I was like, key it over and over and over again. I just can't take it, man. It's kind of over. It's kind of done. I grow sick of it. I grow tired of it. Oh my god, I don't even understand why. Cause like, to even drive those trucks is annoying. It's already annoying to drive a regular truck that you use for regular things, but when it's raised too, why? Why? Now you're double endangering the people around you, and also now it's more dangerous for yourself. I don't understand. So someone earlier mentioned Wendy's. I haven't been to Wendy's in like 3 decades. No, not 3 years. Why did I say 3 decades? I'm stupid. It's been 3 years. It's like, has it been? No, it's been, no, okay, that's why I said decade. It's been half a decade. I keep miscalculating because I keep thinking time's shorter than it is. It's been literally half a decade since I stepped inside of a Wendy's. The reason for that is, at this point, the only reason you would ever eat at a restaurant like Wendy's or McDonald's is that you have the app for it, right? That's the only reason you would have it. is because the app for it makes it so that it's affordable to eat at any of these places. I cannot log back in to the Wendy's app that I had. It won't let me. I've tried every avenue, every single opportunity I could. They've just locked me out. And you know what? Okay, I get it. I see the vision. I see what you're doing here. You don't want me to come back to your establishment. You don't want me to pay money for your square patties and your fries that are always slightly too old to be there. Like they're still like, well, what is it? They've been sitting out for a little bit. They don't have the crunch they have. Or I'm too old for, like, how every single one is slightly dirtier than whatever. Oh my god. Bouchambe free rent thinking 1 year is 10 years, dude. I have not kept track of how long it's been. I actually have to ask people how old I am, because I forget how old I am at every given point, right? It's, ooh, okay. So, again, it's always like this, right? I always have trouble keeping track of how old I am, but also, right? I can only eat at these restaurants, right? If I have the app, because at this point I don't understand why McDonald's has the hash brown for $3.54. I understand. Okay, you could at least kind of maybe squint at it right, make an argument for why McDonald's fries, large fries, are like 2 whatever, 3 whatever, right? Well, that's a whole other conversation. No. Certain McDonald's locations have made it so that instead of like the big red cardboard bucket thing they give you whenever you get a large fry or any size fry, they're all in just stupid ass paper bags. Now you might be thinking, oh, they're doing this because it allows for you know, they're being more economical. They're being more economical. They're thinking about our environment. No, they're not. What that is, you fools, you absolute buffoons. The reason why they put them in the paper bags is because they don't want to put more fries in there for you. You are not getting your money's worth. You come in there for your large fries and you get it, and it's a paper bag that was maybe has as much as like a medium. Wasting your money, wasting your time, and all this. Like I have to now scope out the locations that are good where I don't get scammed because they don't have the paper bag, right? The stupid ass, dumb ass paper bag. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Disgusting. But again, I could at least understand paying 3 whole schmeckles for a fry, large fries. What do you mean the hash brown that is in volume maybe worth 6 fries? $3. Is it made of gold? Do I get caviar along with the hash brown? Why is it $3.59? I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Remember, chat, you could get 12 chicken nuggets cheaper than 10 nuggets at McDonald's, depending on your location. It is actually, unironically, impossible for you to eat at any major mainstream fast food place without one of their apps that have built-in. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. That has built-in discounts, because without those built-in discounts, you can't eat there. You can't. It's impossible. Because oh my god, I cannot believe that every time you eat at any of these places, I check what the payout is one time. I go out with someone. They don't use their app. $13. 13. Just last night, I got McDonald's with my dad, and I really want to test how much of a difference there is between a medium and a large drink. Oh god. You know what's actually more upsetting than that, right? One of the things that really bothers me, I remember when you could have a whole meal at McDonald's for $5 or less. Good times. Dog, there, I saw... You go there, right? You go there to McDonald's and you go, oh, I'll check out your dollar menu. $3. Are you lying to me? Oh, no, it's really funny because I'm wrong, actually. They've changed it to the $1, $2, $3 menu. Ah, so funny. Because the joke is that everything on there costs $3 or more. Isn't that funny? It's not. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I'm jumping all over the place because, oh my god. Okay. You know what? You know who I blame? You know who I blame for the downfall of all fast food places like this? It's inflation, obviously. But do any of you remember the documentary Super Size Me? Do you guys remember that stupid movie that they made you watch in school? Oh man, funny. I'm going to watch Super Size Me. Did you know that if you eat nothing but McDonald's fries 3 times a day, you're going to get fat? Dude, who would have thought that if I buy nothing but the largest option and like 3 different types of entrees 3 times a day, I would get fat? Who would think? Who would ever think that? But like, the best part is, right? The best part of that is the reason why he got fat was because he was a vegan and an alcoholic. I did not see Super Size Easy. Was that the one about the chicken where he tries to do it again and it's way less convincing? I never saw that one. But the whole thing is that like the guy is a vegan and he's an alcoholic. So what a surprise that the vegan who's never eaten meats and fatty stuff like that in years binge eats McDonald's and gains weight and gets sick. Who would have thought? Oh my god, who would have ever supposed that would happen to him? And that single-handedly resulted in McDonald's and restaurants all across the board decreasing their portion sizes, but keeping them at a similar price. We got tricked. It is of my opinion that that documentary was like pushed by those fast food companies because they wanted an excuse to shrink the portion sizes and not have to give out more for a higher price. He was also smoking to make himself hungrier than he should have been. Oh yeah, he did do that. I'd honestly recommend Fathead as a rebuttal to Super Size Me. It's free on YouTube. I might check that out. Oh, who do you know who eats McDonald's exclusively like that? That's what I'm saying. But no, the thing is, Billy Donuts, is that there are certain people who I would understand eating at McDonald's very consistently, very frequently. Like, say, for example, low-income families who do not have time to cook. So the only option they have for them to eat and feed their kids is that's easy for them is to eat at these fast food restaurants, but they can't now because the whole thing has been manipulated so that the cost is higher for no reason, for less portions. It's so annoying. It's so disgusting because this is like all these arguments, right, that people have is like fast food is like the worst thing for you. Yeah, maybe if you eat nothing but it and you do nothing but munch down on some fries and only eat the fattiest options, you can like portion control. You know about calorie restriction. You know about macros. You're not forced to eat the burger. You're not forced to eat the Big Mac. You could just eat the nuggets. You could get it lettuce wrapped if you want. These options are there. But people are always like, fast food's the worst things for you. That's why you have to decrease their portion sizes. No, because if you get bigger portion sizes for cheaper, that's how some people feed their families, man. Buy the elusive 5-piece chicken nugget. That's called when they screw you over. Oh my god, have you ever gotten the chicken nuggets? My little sister does this now. She goes and counts how many chicken nuggets are in there because sometimes those bastards will sit there and be like, here's your 10-piece, and there's 9. Did you never learn to count? Did you never learn I paid for 10? That's the one thing I'll say. A lot of people will sit there and they'll be like, oh man, this is so good. And they'll say like, oh, In-N-Out sucks in comparison to Shake Shack. It's overwhelmingly worse. You know what grinds my gear? Listen, okay. But like, whenever people engage in the In-N-Out Shake Shack debate, I only have one question. Why is it that when I go to Shake Shack, I gotta rip off my whole arm and cut out my liver in order to pay for a burger and fries, not even a drink? Why is that? Huh? Why is that? We're here to make Shanny mad. Oh, Jesus. Because, you know how I said that McDonald's makes their fries $3 for a large one? Yeah, Shake Shack's got one size of crinkle cut fries, and it's like the same size as like the In-N-Out one. But that's like $3.25. I don't believe there's a combo option because you gotta buy it separate from the burger. The burger that is like $7 by itself. I know inflation's a bitch, right? I know inflation's a bitch, and that In-N-Out has since raised like, and it's like, so like he's like In-N-Out's made it so that their double meal is like $10, right? Ooh, scary. You could run it up to 15 at Shake Shack if you want. Run it up to 15. You won't even get you'll get the drink, and it's small. Look, man, some things just taste a lot better when my wallet isn't as light. You know what I'm saying? It's not even worth it. Yeah, the food might taste a little better. It's a little better overall. But sometimes I like simplicity. Sometimes I like it coming out quicker. Sometimes I like me getting like the presentation and just a good familiar meal that doesn't rip out my entire savings account. You know? Five Guys. You like Five Guys? And they busted my eyes, you know. It doesn't matter if Five Guys fries clears all of them. The one argument I'll make for Five Guys is that Five Guys ramps up their price because they bukkake your bag with fries, dog. So, like, at the very least, I'm paying for it, and it makes sense why I'm paying that much. One taco is from my favorite taco place is now $8. Dude, inflation sucks, but like, I feel like people will justify certain restaurants that were already overpriced and being like, well, it's the flavor that counts. Okay, I'm poor. I don't have the money for that. I simply don't have money to be able to do that. All right, it's just not possible. Oh my god, man. Oh. If we're still talking about food, man, there's one place that I just cannot stand. That if you ever say you like eating there, I think less of you as a person. And while they might be budgeted decently well, in this case, I don't think it's justified. Because I hate Denny's. I have never once had a good experience at Denny's. Literally, the mention of us if I'm in a group of people and they even breathe the word Denny's to me as a suggestion, I start like getting palpitations. I start sweating a little. I get a little freaked out because I cannot handle going inside that disgusting establishment with their microwave food. No. 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 None of that. Blech. Ugh. Disgusting. But they have a funny Twitter. They should have a funny, better restaurant. It's so insane, right? So like, here's the thing, right? I was on my high school's wrestling team, right? I was varsity. We were every single time we would go in there, 5 in the morning, right? 5 in the morning. We get weighed in. I'm hungry, tired, exhausted. I didn't eat anything so that I would make weight. And as my reward, Denny's. Our coach would take us all to Denny's. And then I would go into a tournament about to throw up. About to all over the place. Because everything on there is like slightly greasier than it needs to be. But not like good flavor grease. Like it's been there for years grease. Like nasty grease. Like it's gonna kill you grease. Nothing in there feels like when you're biting into it feels like it has substance. Has weight. It feels like you're eating like a styrofoam version of it. Imagine thinking so less your friend's taste buds that you suggest we're at Denny's. Like, actually, right? Like, I feel insulted. I feel insulted that if you go, we dive down and we swipe through Jack in the Box, nah. In-N-Out, nah. McDonald's, nah. Panda, nah. Denny's? Yes. I like me a grand slam. I'm gonna grand slam you into your grave, 6 feet under. Bury you. No headstone. No one gets to deserve to know where you're at. You don't get to deserve to be remembered, dog. I don't understand, man. I just don't get it. Oh my god. And it's just, like, on God, it's like the kind of sickness where, like, you feel like you're gonna throw up, but you can't. You can't do it. You just feel sick the entire time and you can't throw up. That's how I felt every single time. Fun fact also, I don't usually throw up. I haven't had Jack in the Boxes or stuff good. It's like their shakes are fine. And their curly fries are good. I think their, what is it? Their buttery Jack was fine, but it also makes me feel sick sometimes. So it's Swampert is a better Gen 3 starter. Imagine being a firefighting loser. See, the reason why that doesn't upset me is that Swampert's actually a good Pokemon and that Hoenn, any option of Hoenn's good. So I don't really care. So again, like, I don't usually throw up. I don't usually get, like, nauseous easily, right? I did, like, the one chip challenge thing. Did all that. Like, like, I was burning. My mouth was burning. It was really hot. But, like, 5 minutes after, I was good. I was good to rip apart a pizza. I was good. Fine. I've only thrown up once. No, actually, once, right? In the past, like, 2 years. And it was at a cheesecake factory. I got their mac and cheeseburger, whatever it was. And I don't think I've ever felt that sick in my life. I literally, as soon as I left, projectile vomited onto the street. It was so bad. I simply do not understand, right? Okay, but have you ever seen someone inside of an Arby's? Have you ever? Saying a place has good fries is like saying this game, at least this game has good music. The difference is, no, okay, that's actually wrong. Shion, that's actually wrong. A lot of places don't actually have good fries. A lot of places have serviceable fries. That doesn't mean they're good. The thing is, right, you can always measure how good a restaurant is sometimes by how good their fries are, or alternatively, how good, if they have it on the menu, how good their mac and cheese is. Because I don't understand how you can mess up noodle cheese, especially if you're making that shit processed. Do you understand? Because I don't understand. And it's just the easiest way, because I want me a good mac and cheese, and if that doesn't even taste like cheese, there's a problem. So then the fries thing, it's like, why are you serving me fries if they're limp, if they're undersalted, if they're just kind of dry? Why are you doing that? And that experience is more common than any other place. And so, like, people will criticize In-N-Out. They'll be like, oh, it doesn't have good fries. Okay. I don't care, because at least it didn't cost me an arm and a leg to get it. Okay, I'm gonna glorify it once. KFC's not good. KFC's dog shit. I've been to one good KFC in my life. I've been to one good KFC in my life, and it was outside of the U.S. because apparently the United States does not care about their American brand that they made from Kentucky, right? They don't care. Garbage. Nasty ass floors every time. It smells like piss. You eat it, I almost throw up. Too much grease. It's like not the chicken doesn't even have like, oh yeah, it's got the herbs and spices. Yeah, I can't taste them. I can only taste your 7-day-old oil, dog. Nasty. Disgusting. Why is Cheesecake Factory food so mid all the time? Because every place that's like that is exactly the same. The difference is that Cheesecake Factory, look, it's always, you should be genuinely concerned if you go to a restaurant and they have, and on their menu, it shows like, burger, grilled cheese. You turn the page, Korean chicken. Chow mein. What? That should concern you. That should make you raise an eyebrow. It should make you wonder, something's going on here. Something's a little off. I don't know what it is, because that's what Cheesecake Factory menu is. Fun fact, you know the only thing at Cheesecake Factory that's actually good, it's in the name. Their cheesecake. It's the only thing you get there that's actually pretty good. So if you ever go to a Cheesecake Factory with someone and they go, okay, I want the cheesecake, and we go, okay, good. And then they go, and I also want a sandwich. I'm going, no, go away. No, none of that. Stop. Oh my God. Let's shift away from the food for a bit. Hating menu, haha, menu, haha, food. Let's shift away from the foods topics for a section. For a second. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. Everybody follow me on Twitter right now. The thing about it is, a lot of any Twitter accounts are just there to say the dumbest shit, right? And I understand, at least, if you have a blue check mark. Because the thing is, if you have a blue check mark, you are in there to make money, right? So if I see you reposting someone's art, you know, if I see you saying some stupid shit like, oh, Jujutsu Kaisen is deeper than X Shonen series, right? I understand at the very least, like, you're stupid and you don't have any thoughts in the head of yours, but I get what you're doing, right? I understand. You are there to make a bag. That's why every morning when a new Kagurabachi chapter drops, no operator wakes up, does a little stretch, and tweets out Kagurabachi's mid and ass, and it sucks. Because every single stupid person who replies to him with a real argument is only putting more money in his bank account, dog. But then we get, like, the people who just don't even have check marks, are just there to get Twitter clout for some reason, even though you don't get any reward for it. And that's where we're going to talk about. Because every single topic I ever see from any Twitter account, we're going to start with anti-Twitter, is just so brain dead, so dumb, right? So we got every single person talking about recently the conversation of hard work versus talent, right? That topic has come up again. And every single time it is confirmed for me that you did not pay attention to anything that was happening in the story you were reading, right? So, like, on one of the tweets I saw, it was like genetics versus hard work, and you could flip a coin and just decide who was on these ones, because every single time you do it, it doesn't make sense. They had, like, Goku in hard work, and then they put Gon in Jeanette. They put Gon in, like, no, they put him in hard work, right? And they really don't make it clear why they qualify them for this, because if you really look at it, saying that Ichigo has his genetics, it tells me you didn't watch Bleach or read Bleach, because half the time the whole point of it is that his hollow side is, like, preventing him from going all out, and the one time it did help him, he didn't like that. So it's kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. Naruto, what genetics are we talking about for Naruto, right? Like, do you think Minato Namikaze's genes are doing anything? The man whose jutsu, whose signature jutsu is someone else's? The man who couldn't go beyond the Rasengan, couldn't evolve it? Oh, oh, you're right. Maybe it's his Uzumaki bloodline. You're right. That allows characters like Kaden to be a human healing, like, health pack, and pretty much nothing else. Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe it's those genetics that we're talking about, right? What are we talking about? Goku's genetics. It's like with Goku, they always flip between hard work or talent, right? And, like, with Goku, if you argue hard work for Goku, yeah, but then he also, like, is the prophecy boy, the Super Saiyan, so that doesn't make any sense. But on the same vein, if you argue that Goku's genetics, dog, he was poor. He's poor. Like, he was like a lowly soldier. Maybe the real genetics are the friends he made along the way. I argue that it's kind of high-key kind of racist, right? Because it's the same sort of, like, if you ever watch this video called by Plague of Gripes, where he's talking about Naruto, he really does pull, like, the Sasuke's a gene cheater. He calls him a gene cheater because he has the Uchiha, the Sharingan, right? So that makes him automatically better than most people. And it's like rhetoric you see for like I'm like, dude, so Plague of Gripes, I don't know how to tell you this, but, like, if you ever watch basketball, are you gonna be the kind of guy who watches them and goes, he's cheating, LeBron James is a gene cheater? If you said that, you'd be crazy. Like, on God, you need to be thrown out. Because, again, if Sasuke is a gene cheater, explain the entire village of his dead homies. If Sasuke is a gene cheater, explain why his entire clan got merged into the rest. Naruto is a prophecy situation. Yeah, he ends up going against it. But that's the thing, though. The only reason you know that is because you actually paid attention. Goku, Gon, Luffy were hard work, and Ichigo, Naruto, Tanjiro, Itadori, and Deku were genetics. Okay, I don't even have to explain that one. I think the fact that he put Deku in genetics is the funniest thing possible, because that just tells me you didn't actually pay attention to My Hero, or you didn't actually watch it. Because, what do you mean Deku's genetics? He's quirkless. No quirk, no powers. That's not even genetics at that point. You don't even know what you're talking about. So, like, I just don't understand where any of this comes from. And now we're getting into, like, the ones that are like, what percentage of the story does this contribute to? The reason why when I see these things is that I don't think they come from nowhere. The anime community has been using these, not even anime, a lot of people will use, like, basketball stats to compare storytelling technique. They'll start trying to numerically quantify how much of the story characters will contribute to. Or, like, they'll be like, oh, like, this character's bad because they're not the focus the entire time, or they don't get their equally proportioned focus in the story. Side characters. I don't even understand why certain people really want to numerically quantify the media they watch and consume. It's the weird assumption that people with talent also don't work hard to get where they are. Cheesecake, it's almost like people who say this stuff. I'll be honest with you. A lot of the people who say this stuff probably don't necessarily... What am I saying? Oh yeah, they never played sports, or if they did play sports, they weren't very good. Because anyone knows that, like, everyone who's good, like, in the top percentage of it, is, like, maybe, like, talent only gets you as far until someone who just, like, works harder than you beats your ass, right? It's never, like, an 100% true thing, right? Across the board. Nothing ever is 100% true, which is another thing, right? That, like, so many people who talk about, or on Twitter, like, view everything as, like, not even on Twitter, because it's even on YouTube too, and across anywhere you meet, view everything in extremes, and don't ever consider the nuance of what it is they're talking about. So when it comes to the hard work versus talent thing, that wasn't a thing that came up because of Twitter. That was a conversation topic that existed since Naruto began. You can trace back that conversation to every single person who ever talked about Naruto ever, because everyone always mentions Rock Lee, and everyone always thinks that Rock Lee is like was wasted potential because he should have been the main character because he better embodies the theme that the story has. No, it doesn't. No, he doesn't, because if that was true, he would have won against Gaara. I feel like you just didn't pay attention. That's the one thing I'll say, is that, like, a lot of these media illiterate people want something from the story that they're just not getting. That they they come into it with an expectation that was never gonna be met, but they wanted it, right? The biggest example is, like, every single harem story ever, right? People will go into a harem series thinking that the point of it is that it's about to be like a sports tournament. I'm gonna vote. I'm like it's like you're like rats in a race. You're waiting to see who's gonna win. Like it's ever actually up in the air, right? Most of the time, it's obvious. And also, if you actually pay attention to the story, it does a lot to lay out why people win. Right? So you get Nisekoi, you got Quince, you got any harem series where one girl's gonna win. Because the express point of most harem stories is that the main character lacks something that allows him to execute and pick one. So the reason why they're even in that situation is because he's indecisive. So the indecisiveness of the main character is the character flaw that he has to improve. So, like, I just don't understand why people see a story and they'll be like, oh, this girl should have won. The story is bad because the girl I like didn't win. And it's like, unless it's something really, really bad that contradicts the entire point of the story, I think you're just mad that your favorite girl didn't win. Like, somewhere out there, there's probably a fan of Rent a Girlfriend. First of all, that's a whole problem that you're a fan of Rent a Girlfriend. But there's someone out there is probably mad Ruka didn't win. I was probably mad that Ruka isn't going to be the one who, like, becomes the main girl. You know from reading it or watching it that that's never going to happen. These are not sports events. These are not real people. They are characters that an author put on the page. And sure, some of it is like the intrigue of seeing who's going to win. But I think you're stupid if you think that the point is that anyone could win. And oh my god, shipping culture. Oh my god, shippers are so obnoxious. Shippers are the worst. Because like, it's like I said in my Ichiruki video, it's always used for like, it's always used for like the worst. I just don't get it. Especially if it's for like a battle series, because like, again, I'm not saying that a battle series like romance isn't a factor at all. What I'm saying is that if it's not like the main focus, maybe it's not as important as you think it is, right? I feel like a good romance should only go as far if the point of the story is to be a romance. Like Undead Unluck blatantly is a battle shonen that is also a romance story, right? Gurren Lagann is a series that has mecha stuff, but also the explicit romance between Nia and Simon is a huge part of the story. But if it's like Bleach, right? Oribe loves Ichigo, right? And it's implied throughout the stories that he likes her too. But it's never as important as people make it out to be. I feel like romance in a series that doesn't have romance as the major thing, where people will say that it's flawed because of it, is like, dog, why were the fights in Rent a Girlfriend not that good? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? But even then, I kind of view ships as like a thing that is a fun thing to do outside of it. But if your ship doesn't come true, unless it directly contradicts the rest of the story, it shouldn't really matter all that much. At the very least, right now, I can't think of a ship that I think that was canon that was bad. The best reverse harem anime. I'm gonna default to like, actually, it would be Ouran, wouldn't it? It probably would be Ouran. Yeah, Ouran is probably the best one of those. There's fighting in Rent a Girlfriend? Yeah, there's like two fights. It's just Kazuya getting punched in the face by his friend. But that's what I mean though. Ichirukis, I think every single fandom has their variation of the Ichiruki where like it's the ship that's the most popular, and thus a lot of people had convinced themselves that it was canon or something. Either because of manipulation from Noriyuki Abe, Ichiruki's strongest soldier, or it's like, I get it. You're the kind of person who watches like Victorious and sees Andre and Tori and says that they're gonna be together at the end because they're the first two people that meet each other. But like, sometimes that's not the point of it. There's a lot of stories that have it where the guy meets a girl and then eventually falls in love with someone later on because that person works better for them. I forgot the name of it. It's a long Japanese name, but it's a manga that I read that's about like a boy who cross-dresses in order to get closer to be comfortable around this one girl. It's actually a very good story. If I remember the name, I'll be able to recommend it later. But I just... what is it? Like, I feel like if your view of a story goes down because the ship you like was bad, like was not the one that won, like there's something wrong. Where the hell is the best friend and rent a girlfriend? He should have ended the damn story volumes ago. Yeah, honestly, the best friend and rent a girlfriend should have snapped his neck. Jade X Tori is the real end goal. I finished Quentin Reviews' entire series. Very good. I'd recommend it. But what was I saying? Yeah, every single franchise, every single series, not even just like anime, a lot of even like cartoons, and has their variation of the Ichiruki ship. The most popular ship where people will act so bad about it. I recently found out that Nalu from Fairy Tail was a toxic ship. I don't even understand that, because if you're just mad that like Fairy Tail didn't pull the plug, the story's not over yet. The story's not done. Hiromashima's messing with you. He's not gonna put Natsu and Luffy together until it works with the story. But like, even then, he literally confirmed it. Sonami shippers, exactly. There are so many series that have their variation of the Ichiruki ship, and it's always the one ship that is so toxic for no reason. And I don't get it. Literally just experience the ship for what it is. It's like power scaling. I'm working on shippers and power scalers are kind of the two sides of the same coin, where like, yeah, what they do is actually objectively story analysis. What they're doing is extrapolating the information from the story and using that to make a deduction from what it is they're talking about. The difference is, I feel as though ship scalers are more factual. Like, scalers will, at the very least, only take factual information to deduce a conclusion that realistically, like, doesn't matter as much. There are certain scalers that are really bad and will like say that a series is bad or good because of how strong their characters are. But like, I feel as though scalers will at least only use it for their fun activity until it becomes not fun, to like say that their character wins in a fight. Shippers are more focused on a thing that does affect character relations and are thus like way more toxic about it, and like misconstrue their love for the show and the quality of the story because of the ship. And I just don't see the point. If we're talking about scalers though, power scalers, have you ever noticed that everyone who says that power scaling is the worst thing ever, every now and then really wants to power scale? Any conversation you have with someone and they go, power scaling's so stupid, will be preceded by them badly scaling. Without fail. I was surprised that Jeffrey Thu had a bad take after years of being relatively low-key and saying decently smart things. But of course the one dumb thing he says is about power scaling. Technically, any of these characters can't win in JJK because they don't have cursed energy. Okay, so if I shot Yuji in the head, that means he's dead, right? Jeff, if I throw Yuji into the sun, is he gonna live? Ooh, he turns into a ghost. Now, how's he getting off the sun? Do you not? There are characters in JJK that use guns. There's an entire point of the Cooling Games, at the end of the Cooling Games, where the American government comes in and kills a good number of sorcerers with guns. Oh no, not the cursed spirits. What do we do with them? Launch them into the sun. Oh yeah, you know what, Afros? Just send the name of the manga in chat. Shoot them with the dehydration. No, but that's so valid though. What is Sukuna gonna do when he gets hit with the dehydration gun? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Right? And it just like the thing about people who are bad at scaling is that scaling in and of itself is a tool to be able to like measure debating and critical thinking, right? So there's no like objective conclusion. However, you can tell who pays attention to and who doesn't based off of the way they scale, right? So they'll talk about like, I don't know, Bleach, and they'll say that, Bleach characters are only building level. To me, that means you weren't paying attention to the one time when Kenpachi cut a meteor in half. By the way, what Afro sent to the name of the manga in chat. By anti-dehydration technique from the Heian era, right? I forgot who. Okay, so I was ranting about. I was talking about this. I was arguing with a friend, and he was talking about like the fact that most light speed scaling feats are not actually light speed scaling because what they're doing is dodging out of the way of someone pointing a gun at them. That's like maybe 50%, because the perfect example, if you're gonna argue about like any speed feat, is that Hakari, when fighting Kashimo, the lightning bolt was right in front of his face before he moved out of the way. There was no aim dodging involved. He dodged. Right? He reacted. There's like, it's never like one thing. It's never one thing. There's a reason why within scaling there are high balls, low balls, and the general consensus, right? There's a reason why when you're talking about Avatar, you can scale someone from being a stupid ass who can't even dodge a bullet to being a continental god. To even if you really want to be a dickhead, use the fact that they said that Korra achieved, that Bryke said that Korra reached actual enlightenment, the actual state of nirvana, to scale her to above concepts. But that's a high ball. That means it's not entirely true. Oh my god. But even then, I feel like scalers take their shit they do too seriously. They start using it to judge the quality of the story. They start using it to like, there's people who dox you over the fact that you say Superman loses to Goku. It's never that deep. It's never that deep, man. One thing that I feel like when lightning is involved in a story, I don't think writers care to think of or care to realize how fast lightning strikes. It's more so that a lot of times, like if you check interviews of like God of War, the people know how powerful these characters actually are. They just can't show it because they you know, it'll ruin the gaming experience. Death Battle was fun, but the one thing about Death Battle is I will at least give credit to people who hate on Death Battle because they did start like popularize the scaling community, but they have acknowledged that the videos they made for a while were only had conclusions picked because the one was more sensational. However, like, I feel like a lot of people's perceptions of each one are tainted by the fact that they are fans of the one series. Like, Toph versus Gaara is a perfect example of, like, they just picked Toph because people were more into Avatar than Naruto back then, and still kind of are. But I think with the latest season, they were a lot better about that. I feel, though, scaling does come from another place of, like, narrative consistency, of trying to figure out how strong a character is and trying to figure out why it might be a little jarring when a character gets stronger over time. Again, it's more nuanced than people make it, but people never want to think about nuance. People just do not want to think about nuance when they talk about stuff. They only want to have the one conclusion and argue about the one thing as if it's the truth. It's the only thing that matters. That's what I think is, like, the most frustrating thing, right? So there'll be the people who complain about YouTubers posting, like, clickbait thumbnails or clickbait titles, right? Where it's like a video's title, like, Johnny Stars, how to write the perfect protagonist. Obviously, the title's a little more sensational than it needs to be, right? But that's the game, dog. That's the game we gotta play. I feel like people who complain about clickbait, titles, they're always people who don't make videos. Because when you click on the video, you'll figure out that that's not the case. You can always kind of assume that's not the case. Yeah, it deters some people from watching the video. Then you were never going to watch it to begin with. That shouldn't concern you that much. But if you're going to go on the video, read the clickbait title, watch it, and still comment as if the title was the point of the video, I'm sorry. That's not, like, again, that's never always the case, right? So, like, there was this video I watched. It was about, like, I don't know. I thought I was gonna get into a video talking about why Avatar's fucking Valley, the Valley episode was good, and I got an entire video about Avatar's influences and never got an answer. That's clickbait. That's bad. That's cringe. That's where I'm like, yeah, no, you advertised it as something else. But if it's like how to write the perfect protagonist, obviously the perfect part is the clickbait. Because the video is actually about protagonists and stories. And so, like, naturally, he's gonna use it more sensational. Because it would be a lot less clicky if I went, this is the thing I appreciate the most in protagonists, and why which one works and some don't. Yeah, like, if it's not related, yeah, that's what I mean, is that, like, clickbait is just... Clickbait isn't even the worst thing, though. Because if you're already deterred from it, don't watch it. But you have to clickbait on YouTube. You have no choice. You have to make a title that is intriguing. So, like, whenever people are like, this YouTuber is using clickbait, it's not true. It's like, okay, obviously it's not 100% true, but it got you to click on it, and it got me. People's careers are on YouTube, man. Of course it's gonna be clickbaity. We have no choice. If anything, complain about the system, dog. Complain about sensationalism that we were forced to do. Oh my god. If I get another comment, if I get another person who says something that I didn't say in my video, I'm gonna lose my mind. If I get another person commenting on my VTuber video saying that I'm jealous of VTubers or that I hate them, I'm sorry. You're dumb. You simply do not. You lack the mental equipment required to navigate this world. If I like okay, there are people who watched my video on Ruby Volume 9 being the best volume of Ruby. And like, they fail to realize that what I'm doing is not arguing that RWBY Volume 9 is a masterpiece of cartoons, that it is a masterpiece of storytelling, that it could do no wrong. I am saying, in the grand scheme of the flawed internet show, RWBY, that maybe this one is the better of them. I'm not jealous of Mume, I'm jealous of anyone who gets to talk. What? So like, I just, like, if you watched any of my content, you would know that what my thoughts are on RWBY. If you come to my but even then, in that video, I explain that while I think RWBY Volume 9 is the best volume for RWBY, that does not mean it's good. Is RWBY actually dead? I don't know. We don't know. I heard somewhere that there was a buyer, but it turns out that was a lie. That's another thing, right? People are very quick to believe rumors about the industry going around. And I just, like, the people are so quick to do it. I had so many people disagreeing and agreeing on, like, why RWBY Volume 9 was cut down. People thought it was because of the budget. People thought it was because of RWBY X Justice League. And because I was told by a good, decent amount of people that it was, like, a fact that this was true, I ran with it because I thought I was being misled. But as it turns out, no, none of that was the case. I'm definitely a victim of this, but there's a good number of people who will, like, go around policing things that aren't even true necessarily. And I don't, it's just muddying up the narrative for no reason. Sensationalism for no reason. And it makes my life more difficult. Oh my god. One thing I do hate, though, about YouTube videos is, of course, that absolutism. People will always, people will always, like, believe that there's only one logical conclusion. And that's not always the case, but there's a certain type of thing I hate with video essays, where the YouTuber will either, like, say something that they like project it is the only fact that is true. And then there's the thing I like to call Schrodinger's asshole. Schrodinger's asshole refers to someone who acts like a dick. Acts like, oh, this is I'm right. Oh, they say something inflammatory. And they go through two routes. If they get shit for it, they'll then loop around and say that they're actually making satire content. But if you agree with them, then their opinions were always fact and it's always what they believe. I.e., donkey, right? It's always this sort of meme that you see a lot. A lot of creators who pull the donkey clone sort of thing, or like will act like a dick, and then will always decide if they're serious or if they're joking, depending on the reaction they get from their audience. That's the most irritating thing about it, right? It's why, like, I never understand why people ride so hard for, like, Donkey's, like, critical reviews, right? I understand riding for Donkey's, like, parody videos, but not necessarily his reviews, because he's very blatantly trying to make a point. And you can criticize someone for making a point. Again, CinemaSins. CinemaSins was ruined media discourse for a decade because they made everything mathematically quantifiable. It's just thing inconsistent, ding, don't think about it, ding. And that's how, like, so many people who grew up watching it think about media. And it's honestly just a remnant of, like, millennial sort of media discourse. There's so many, like, early YouTubers who like really push this. I feel like you have to be able to recognize that, yeah, Donkey is a comedian, but sometimes he's trying to make a point, and the point he's making is dog shit. Ugh. Scene does not contain a lap dance. I don't want to rant too much about trash taste, because I feel like it's being beaten to a pulp. But what I will say that bothers me is that people who are fans of trash taste will pull Schrodinger's asshole for them. They're called trash taste, so why are you criticizing them? Okay, okay, I'm gonna make a podcast. Call it Bigots, Bigots and like, I'm just gonna call it Bigots, right? So that if I say anything, any bigoted opinion, I hope to God I get a fan base that sits there and goes, wait a minute, you can't criticize him because he's doing it on purpose. What? Huh? That's the thing, is like, trash taste is like, yeah, it's a podcast, and yeah, it's friends shooting the shit, but I can still make, like, say that what they said was stupid, right? Because I don't know about you, when I shoot the shit with my friends and just like talk about whatever it is, right? I don't then record that and then publish it to YouTube and then knowingly cut out a portion of it to make it to a clip to be put onto YouTube so everybody can see it. And that's the thing that bothers me, is that like trash taste would be different if it was like a stream where they're clearly not thinking about this, right? But you say it enough, say the things they say enough times with enough consistency, and you know that that's what they believe. Again, we have Joey the AI man and Sea-Dog fucking no good takes VA, right? I just don't understand why your defense of them is that they're named trash taste, so that's why it's okay for them to say what they do, and you can't criticize them for it. Again, if I named my child ultra racist, I can't expect him to not get shit for being racist just because I named him that. That's not how that works. People take a lot of the clips without context at times. The problem is that, like, yeah, that might be the case, maybe, but still, like, the context doesn't really help. Like, the AI take that Joey had, the context didn't help at all. In fact, it made it worse. Again, never a hard and fast rule. Never a hard and fast rule for anything. Oh, my God. Pretzels or chips? It depends. Are they the small ones or are they the big ones? You can't hide behind irony. This is not a Rick and Morty episode. I feel like a lot of people will hide behind it as like a shield, but then will also switch to deciding that they're serious and now everything they've said is like a good big point they're making if they get enough people agreeing. The thing about someone like Filthy Frank was that when Filthy Frank made videos, the express point the entire time was that what he was saying was being said by a maniac, and you're not supposed to agree with him. There was a line that was drawn that made it apparent that he was not being serious. And I feel like that attracted a good number of people who didn't realize he wasn't serious. And I feel like that's most people talking on the internet. The thing is, why I kind of feel like my video, I don't view my videos as like anything other than like an opinion I have. It goes out there, and whatever people agree with it, they don't, as long as someone got entertained by it. There's a good number of people who, because I know that there's a good number of people who watch video essays not because they want to learn or see a different opinion, they want someone to validate the opinion they already have. And I feel like that extends from this idea that people always want the simplest solution. They always, like, I remember I was watching, like, the Quentin Reviews video where he points out that, like, people will talk about Dan Schneider only negatively in relation to what the shows that he created. Because whenever something bad happens in a show that Dan Schneider made, they assign that to Dan Schneider because then they could write it off. But if it's a good thing in a show that Dan Schneider made, all of a sudden it's off limits. He can't credit it to Dan Schneider. When in reality, Dan Schneider's the reason why those shows existed. So everything within them is in some way attributed to him. And you have to acknowledge that. Like, sure, there's death of the author, but the author still, like, he still made it, right? Like, death of the author only counts for, like, analyzing the themes of the thing. Not necessarily, like, what the thing is. And I feel like it's this way for a lot of, like, controversy and a lot of course, Twitter drama. Oh, no, not even Twitter drama, just drama in general. Because I feel like a lot of people, the way I see it with a lot of cancellations, for example, is that people will see some guy get canceled, right? And then everyone decides that guy is the villain. But then it turns out that the person who's being victimized in that situation was a bad person. And then the pendulum swings right back. And now the new victim is the ultimate bad guy. And the guy that got victimized before is actually good. And therefore everything that was confirmed true that they did is now bad. Have you ever considered that they're both bad people? Have you ever considered that perhaps someone can be a victim in a situation but also still be a bad person? It's the way that people talk about things. They want the comfortable answer of just we have to. If it has any bad material, then therefore the entire thing must be bad. Or if there's anything bad that happened in relation to it, the entire thing must be bad. Or even now, it's like if a character is explicitly made to be a bad person, even having the material of that guy makes the story complicit in it, man. And it's like, okay, what was it? Oh yeah, so there was controversy around a silent voice, right? And part of the point of a silent voice is that a lot of society doesn't account for people who are others, like they look different or they don't conform to the same thing that everybody else does. And specifically the Japanese school system and the Japanese society doesn't account for people who are different. And a lot of the ways they work to they work around that, it makes it worse. Like the whole point of a silent voice is that they put this girl who was deaf in a class full of kids who were never going to understand. But instead of like creating an environment where they understood what she was going through, they instead made it so that she was like she caused forcing her into like forcing them to interact with her without ever like actually aiding in that, kind of just expecting it to be all on these kids who blatantly just don't understand what's going on. And kids do what kids will do. They'll push away the person who they view as the other. And then once that person is done being bullied, they move on to the next scapegoat. And that's how like the whole point of it is that once they get to the communication phase and realize that there was things that they weren't saying or didn't understand, then they're able to connect, which is what they should have done the entire time. The whole point of the bullying in that show was to show that it was wrong. But then people will say that a silent voice is bad because it even depicts it at all. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense in this instance because these are fictional characters. And this is a way that you are able to show that this is bad and this is how to fix it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It's like it. I think I saw somewhere that people will try to watch media that they view as the most moral or the most correct, when in reality that's never true, because the very foundations upon which that we experience media are made with bad intentions, depending on how you view it. You are never going, like, it's just, I don't. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so there's a YouTuber named Big Joel. He made a video. He said something about like 300 is like fascist propaganda. And then people were like, "Oh, so you're saying that this movie's bad because it's fascist propaganda?" And then I'm like, and then he's like, "No, I just said that that's what it was, because if you watch it, it has these things. That doesn't mean anything else other than that." And it's like, oh, you can't watch it now because it has that. Like, yeah, you can. You could just choose to be like, yeah, that's weird. Anyways, or you could have the self-respect to just not watch it yourself. I don't know. I feel like people will take these things and try to simplify them into the most extreme sides, when you could just navigate it with whatever nuance you feel like, because maybe things are complicated. And maybe it's not always that simple. Oh my god. Funny fact, the only reason I watched Big Joel to begin with, because he made a series of videos on like DreamWorks films. That's what he started out with. I think I turned it off, and then I stopped watching for a bit. I came back to his channel and it was a bunch of like other stuff, and I was like, whoa, okay, let's slow down. I watch you for movie. Oh my god. Oh my god, my head hurts. Oh, so one thing I think is really funny is that when people will talk about like what is it? Media, equality is subjective, right? That's like their favorite phrase. And that the point of media literacy is that all stories can be viewed multiple different ways. It's like, okay, yeah, they can. But that doesn't mean that you're free to then say whatever you want about it. So, like, for example, if I make a video about, like, Naruto, and then I say Naruto's a story about why music should be banned from this world. Am I, like, valid in saying that? Is there anything within the story of Naruto that proves what I just said is true? The answer's no. But if I operate on the lens of, like, anyone can view the story the way they want it to, and everyone can come to different conclusions because media of stories are subjective, and it's like, okay, yeah, your feelings on them can be subjective because that's not what the word means. You can still, like, have an opinion on something that's based in objective, like, in your objective viewpoint, using objective analysis, and it can still be wrong later. Theories are objective, and theories can be proven wrong. I feel like people replace subjective and objective with opinion versus fact. When all subjective versus objective means is that subjective opinions were made through the viewpoint of like through one's emotional viewpoint, whereas an objective opinion was one that only uses the facts presented to them to come to a conclusion. Obviously, that's going to change depending on the person. Drake is better than Kendrick. Dark, I'm going to beat you with a brick. I'm just gonna beat you with a brick. I don't understand why you felt the need to say that. Cringe. Disgusting. When theories get subjective, that's called fan fiction. I mean, I guess, but the thing about, like, opinions are fine as long as they're coherent. The thing about it is, right, is that if I have to sit there in your shithole video essay and you spend a good portion of time explaining to me that opinions are subjective, that's why I know you're saying that because you don't want to get criticized. I know that's like the reason why you're saying it. But then on the other hand, there are people who will will proclaim that their thing is fact. And that I don't understand either, because if what you're saying, I know, you are not the only person who's the only lens on this one topic. If someone responds to you and they have the better argument, then they have the better argument, and what they said is probably better than what you did. But what you say is not fact, but also what you say is still an opinion, therefore it can still be criticized. All that tells me, when you start a video and you spend so much time saying that, oh, opinions are media is subjective. It could anyone could come to a different conclusion. That should be obvious to anyone with a brain. What you're doing is you're telling me that you don't want to get criticized. But that's just a theory. And it's like, okay, I consider it's just my opinion as another example of Schrodinger's asshole. Because I know that everyone who says that, if they were praised for the thing they said, they would have said that it's true. I was always believing in it. I've been saying that. And then as soon as they get criticized, they're like, it's just my opinion, man. I don't know why. You're criticizing me for my opinion, man. I don't get it. It's not that deep. Why are you bullying me for it? It's because you said it. Because you said it. You put it out there. If you have the right to say that, then I also have the right to say that I don't agree, right? Oh, that's the other thing. I feel like people who will see people criticize YouTubers and will go like, it's just an opinion, man. It's not that deep. I don't even understand the logic of that, because if you think about that for 5 seconds, you then realize that you have that the person mocking the YouTuber is also just saying an opinion. So you're not even following your own advice at that point. If, say for example, tomorrow, that Cream said, Cream says like, oh, the hollows in Bleach are a badly executed story thing. And I respond with, Creams, that's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever said. And then someone replies to me, hey, that's just his opinion, leave him alone. Well, that's just my opinion. I'm gonna bully him. Like, what do you not understand that like what you're doing is the same thing that you're criticizing me for? You are also coming up to a stranger on the internet and telling them that their opinion is invalid. For going to a stranger on the internet for telling them that their opinion is invalid. It doesn't even make sense. What you mean to say, honestly, is just tell them it's not that deep. Or that, like, specifically when it comes to certain creators like Trash Taste, if a good number of their defenders go defend them by saying that's just their opinion and they're just friends shooting the shit, and that you are going there to end up you talking crap about them is like, is bad. What they don't mean that you can't criticize someone for their opinions. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't even be coming up to you like they are. What they actually mean is that I like those guys and I don't respect you. So you can't criticize people I like. Just be honest about that. Just be honest about that. Because you cannot proclaim that what you are saying, that you are doing something by defending them because it's just their opinion. They're just friends shooting the shit. And then I disagree with what they said. It's the same thing with everything, right? Where it's like, I'll be like saying, oh, this show sucks. And then someone goes, hey man, that's like, it's pointless to say that. It's just your opinion. You could put that out there. Like, okay, but I also have an opinion. I also, like, is it because I'm the negative one? Is it because it's the one that you don't agree with? And not a lot of people can, like, separate that. They're I just think that if you're going to do things like say that people who complain about stuff are annoying, you are complaining and you're just like them. The only difference is you're complaining about them, so it's different. Maybe the curtains were just blue kind of take. So fun thing about that, I think that people who really say that, like, any kind of external analysis for something, that it, like, saying that it could also mean this, are just like people who say that, say, I believe that, say for example, I believe that Evangelion was not intended to have the religious symbolism be the main point of the story. But I can totally see, based off of how the production was made, that you can still infer something about the story by analyzing it. You just can't then say that it was always the point, though. You could just say it could be read from that. Again, nuance, it's never one solid thing. You have to kind of navigate through it. JoJo 4 best part? No, it's part 7, but JoJo part 4 is second best. I also really don't like people who love saying that, like, using the word taste. Like, the idea of someone having shit taste is, to begin with, an opinion that you have, right? But even then, right, most people who say the word taste have the most milquetoast taste known to man, right? The people who parade around being like, you anti-tubers have really bad opinions, and I check what their opinions are, and it's just the Mal Top 100. You people have really bad movie opinions, and I check what their opinions are, it's the Letterboxd Top 100. Oh wow, your favorite movie is Pulp Fiction? You're so unique. Oh my god, your favorite anime is Cowboy Bebop? Oh my god, you're so smart, so unique. You liking things that are widely known to be good doesn't make you special. It just makes you another person who likes that thing. Having good taste, quote unquote, is such a funny concept to me, because everyone who proclaims that is the most boring person known to man. Forget taste, they have no flavor. For someone who proclaims that they have really good taste, when I talk to them, they're these most sauceless beings known to man. And it's like this every time. People want to have the best taste. And don't, because like, what you should be caring about is why people like things, not what they like. Like, if two people like Cowboy Bebop, and one of them says, "Oh, it's a masterpiece. Oh, it's simply one of the most divine pieces of works of all time," and then the other person goes, oh, well, I really had a good experience watching it. I really enjoyed watching it. I liked the characters a lot. I believe the second person. So it's fine for me to hate Violet Evergarden, no cheesecake, because I'm gonna beat you with bricks. It's wrong because I dictated as such. No, I believe, like, I don't shit on you because you hate Violet Evergarden because you have bad taste. I'm worried that the reason what the reason is for you saying that. I'm always more concerned about why people don't like things because I feel like I'm about to hear the dumbest thing ever. Right? Like, I feel like watching someone and only judging someone based off of the fact that they do or do not like something and not why they do is such a fucking fruitless endeavor. Like, what's the point? You're not gonna learn anything, and also, like, maybe they have a special emotional connection to it. Maybe they don't like it because it offends them on a level. And honestly, if it offends, there's certain media that offends people that I feel like they have a decent right to be offended by. They just, like, I just feel like sometimes they shouldn't comment on it if that's the case. In certain cases. In certain cases. It's always in certain cases. Assume that when I talk about things like this, I say in certain cases. Because a lot of people do not have the self-awareness to realize that I recognize that it's not always true. But it's a good amount of trueness to that fact. Oh my god. We're getting too much in the media discourse now. We gotta lighten it down. We gotta lighten it down. I feel like I'm alone sometimes because whenever it comes to like tropes people hate, I don't have any that I despise. Even when it comes to like fan service, right? I don't necessarily dislike it as much. Is it bad if I don't like a shonen if it has too much fighting and not enough character development? JJK. Hey, Ozzy the Dino, check out my YouTube channel. Look up a video about Jujutsu Kaisen. That'll answer your question. I hate Kamen Rider Drive because the toy shilling is absurd and Go is racist. Get out of my time. Isn't like the whole point is that he's wrong? Like what are we talking about? Everyone should watch Equilibrium. It's poorly written and actively betrays its own premise every chance it gets, but it's really fun, and its disregard of its premise is part of the fun. I feel like you learn more also by watching bad media than you do good media. If you watch a lot of bad stuff on purpose, you learn a lot more. Because again, sometimes it's fun to watch trash, you know? Oh, one more thing while we're still getting into the weeds of like media opinions. I despise when someone who like has no knowledge in the field of what they're talking about proceeds to act like they're like the expert on it. If you don't know anything about editing, the phrase "this has really bad editing" should never come out of your mouth. Unless it's obviously really bad. So, I mentioned on my one stream that, like, my big thing about when people mention budget that pisses me off is that every time someone brings it up, they just kind of assume that budget is the reason why these things are bad. When, if I throw $5 billion at a 5-year-old, the 5-year-old's never going to be able to make Citizen Kane. Just never going to be able to. Because there's obviously going to be more to that, but you wouldn't know that unless you actually kind of like at the very least study the inner workings of how films work. I was once in a like, I was once in a like a friend group, right? That insisted that, that like the creators of stories or movies are never lazy because the very action of them working on it is like, you know, like, you know, there's passion being put into everything that people work on because they're in the film industry and they have to, right? That's never true, because I've been on film sets where everybody knew it was trash and they still worked on it anyway. It's always like, the reason why I'm never gonna comment on, like, I don't know, the inner workings of baseball is because I've never played baseball and I don't care about baseball. But if I see someone who, like, has never made, or like at least hasn't made an effort to make, I don't know, edit a video, I shouldn't hear them talking about, like, what you need to do to work on a video, because that's just gonna piss me off. I'm like, I don't know why you're talking about that. Or people are like, this is bad CG. You don't even know why that's bad CG. You don't even know. You're just saying it because your gut feeling tells you it looks bad. But even sometimes it doesn't even look bad. Because, like, the reason why people will just assume CG's bad is because they don't like thing, and the thing had CG, so automatically that must be why it's bad. Maybe it just wasn't executed properly. Maybe like, technically it was really, really bad. Reminds me of the guy who became an animator so he could hate on animators. Honestly, I respect that guy way more than the average Twitter hater. On God. What's that one quote that's like, sometimes it's more wise to admit you don't know something? Honestly, I just will never comment on something I don't know a lot about. One thing, though, is that I really don't like the way people are elitist about watching a lot of stuff. Right? I don't understand why you should feel better than other people because you wasted more of your life watching cartoons. One of the reasons why I didn't play video games a lot is that, well, for one, I was kind of too busy. I never had an excuse to play games. But also, I used to be in groups of people who, when I told them I didn't play games, would basically treat me like a second-class citizen, right? Oh, you didn't play Persona 5 when it was really popular already? No, because I wasn't playing games when Persona 5 was out. I didn't know about Persona. And in my eyes, I didn't know anything about Persona, so I figured playing the 5th game in the franchise would be a bit weird. Oh, you didn't play every single Halo game? You're a lesser of a person. All that's doing for me is making me not want to play games. It's just making me, in fact, it makes me want to not have conversations around you when you're talking about games. Thanks to streaming, and thanks to me playing games for, like, you know, playing games as part of streams, I've finally been able to play more things that I've wanted to try, like Omori or Persona, right? I wouldn't have even thought about am I the resident-only rhythm gamer allowed to agree with your take? Yeah. But, like, again, I would rather be encouraged to play more games, and then, rather than, like, being told I'm a dipshit for never playing every single God of War game, because I simply did not have your childhood and own every single console. Because I didn't experience the same things you did, for some reason I am lesser. There's a reason why, even though I watch, like, I'll watch, like, if you ever hear Robin or Creams or Jonathan talk about how many pieces of media I've watched, like, I don't view that as, like, a badge of proud honor that makes me better than the average person. It just means I watched more anime than the average person. It also makes me slightly more informed. I only think that how much you've experienced only works as a criticism if the person you're talking to is saying something about it. So these two things I just complained about work in tandem. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Destiny. Thank you for subscribing. So like, okay, what was it? So for example, right? I mentioned back, like just recently, people who are uninformed, but will still talk about things even though they're uninformed. I also mentioned people who like will criticize others for not experiencing as much as they have. The only instance where the second guy is right is when the first guy starts talking. That's why I will never mention how much I've watched until someone is saying something like, you know, all anime is all anime is not woke. There's no woke anime. And I'd be like, you didn't watch it. You simply didn't pay attention, because I see like another show with lesbians every other day. Gurren Lagann is Ro-Ro fight the power, not Ro-Ro keep the status quo, dog. Like, it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Or it'll be like, oh, someone talking about, I don't know, boxing. And they'll be like, oh, well, I feel like I could beat that guy in a fight. You've never boxed in your life. You don't even know what you're talking about. So you're not going to. In this case, the guy who is obnoxious about all the about knowing more about you is right, because at least it's like, because he's criticizing someone who doesn't know shit and is not talking about it. Like, I that's another thing, right? Is that people who, like, experience a lot of media to feel superior about the fact that they experience a lot of media are the worst kind of person. No joy, no whimsy in your soul. Don't you want to enjoy things? Don't you want to have fun? Don't you want to watch something and kick your feet a little bit, enjoy, because you're enjoying what it is you're watching? Why do you gotta be so miserable? Why do you gotta bring everybody down? Why do people who are like self-proclaimed reviewers on Mal or something, or like on Letterboxd, feel like they're so superior? And it's even worse. And like the reason why I respect critics who have at least done the thing they're talking about, right? But like, if you're just a guy who watches a lot of stuff with no whimsy and just always is like, everything must be a 6 or below because there's nothing that... Oh my god. Ratings. Ratings are the stupidest shit ever. Like, why do you care so much? I care if it's for a restaurant, because then I know to go to the restaurant. But if it's for, like, my opinion on, like, Naruto, and it's like... I could, like, oh no, not Naruto, because I have that at a 10. I feel like... It's like, oh, you rated that too high, you give away 8s and 7s too much. Who cares? Not you. You shouldn't care. Is it affecting you? Is me giving a lot of 7s and 8s gonna kill you? These are for my purposes. I have these ratings for my reasoning, dude. Like, why do you care so much about what things are rated? Why do you care so much about what other people rate things? Care more. Like, again, if I meet someone and they give Gurren Lagann a 10, I'm like, oh wow, you like Gurren Lagann, why? And he goes, oh, because I think that Japanese media is better than American, and this show is very good war propaganda. I'm just gonna, like, not like the guy. Because, what? That didn't make any sense. But to the person who cares about ratings, the fact that they have it at the right rating is good. Like, oh my god, there's a reason why, like, on my media thread, I don't have ratings on them. Because every single person who sees, like, a rating that's not the right number will lose their minds. Like, that's not high enough. That's too low. Like, Goldilocks, I'm gonna kick you out of my house. Like, I don't care. I don't care. It's not your rating. You shouldn't care about my rating because it's not yours. However, if I said something stupid about it, maybe you should care. Gurren Lagann is a good example of the classic Yamato Damashi cheeses. Oh my god. Gurren Lagann is war propaganda. Yeah, if you're stupid. God, what was it? There was another thing. Oh yeah, so like this whole I said, okay, no, what did I say? On the ratings, oh yeah. So I start that media thread, right? And I'm like, I'm putting things in my media thread because I qualify them as being part of it for me to log that I consider it being a part of what I experience, what I like, right? Oh my god. People who like will be like, oh, you're like why are you putting that in there? Why are you considering? Why do you listen to movie OSTs? You're really padding out the media thread now. Maybe I just like it, dog. Contrary to popular belief, some people just like things, man, and like putting them on there because they really want to remember that they did it and not forget that they did it. Row, row, give your life for your country. When you find out the other fan of an obscure media, but they turn out to be racist, dude, you know how painful it is that I can't go around saying that I like K-On? You know how awful it is that I can't go around saying I like K-On? Because I'll meet the average K-On profile picture, and I'll be like, hey man, I really love K-On. He's like, yeah, I do too. None of those woke minorities in my K-On. What? Huh? What did you say? I saw this guy put food in his media thread. Honestly, that'd be pretty funny. Oh my god, people take their consumption of media so seriously. So over the top. Oh my god, you are just watching cartoons. You are just watching TV. You are just watching movies. It's not that deep. But like, if someone proclaims that they are an expert on the topic, they should be criticized. And that's where, like, the fucking Schrodinger's asshole comes from. Because there are people like Donkey who want to be an expert on the topic when they're praised, and be funny guy where it's just my opinion when he's getting criticized. Are you sure it was a media thread or consumption thread? Hole. Shion, do me a favor. Name one MLP fan who wasn't also a little bit weird in the current day. Name one. You can't. You really can't. Maybe one or two, but you can't. There's always something a little off about everyone who was in the MLP fandom. I couldn't imagine being in the MLP fandom. Ooh, I couldn't imagine that. Ooh. I also think, like, trying to argue over what fan base is the most annoying fan base is so funny to me, because you'll find out that every single fan base, if you stay long enough, is full of freaks. If you stay there long enough, someone's gonna raise their hand and say something out of pocket. It doesn't matter where. You go into, like, I don't know, the Gundam fandom, and like, yeah, man, I love building Gunpla. Oh, it's so nice. It's a really good show, and I feel like there's not enough appreciation for the old classics. I believe that media is too woke nowadays. The woke media has ruined our shows. Huh? What? Huh? What? When the Ponytown stream boost, never. People like being... Okay, the thing about it is, a lot of people who are fans of media that is wholesome and cute and full of friendship, the most uplifting, like, series known to man, will have a fan base of the most toxic people, because, in my opinion, they're watching it because they lack the things that the show is about. They lack the things that the show is about. K-On! Is a series about cherishing the memories you have when you're kids. And, you know, growing up, making friends, being kind to the ones around you so that you, too, can one day value the bonds that you have. Someone who lacks empathy and someone who, like, lacks the kindness is gonna watch that and value it because it has the things that they lack as people. It's always the same thing, because, like, look at the Pokemon fandom, dog. Oh my god, I hate the Pokemon fandom. Stupid assholes can't figure out what they want. Praise our Lord and Savior, Nintendo. Like, oh my god, again, it's that rant I had from the Power World stream. Pokemon fans just don't know what they want, and they just will fight for it no matter what, and never just consider that maybe the company knows that you will pay for it for a lesser product because it's Pokemon. And that's been the problem for years. Oh my god. Have you read or watched Undead Unluck? Undead Unluck is one of my favorite series in Weekly Shonen Jump right now. I've not finished the anime, no. Oh my god. The Sonic fandom in a nutshell. Oh my god, the Sonic fandom and the Pokemon fandom fighting to decide who is the stupider of the two. But again, I feel like trying to say that any one fandom is the worst fandom is a funny argument to me because you're just arguing over who is dumber. They're all dumb. All of them have freaks. You're never gonna have a fan base that isn't full of freaks. It's not possible. I don't think it's possible. I feel like you are losing brain cells if you're arguing that. Like, I joined the VTuber community. I had this conversation with one guy, and he was saying that the big thing that, like, he was deterred from joining the VTuber community because he realized how toxic they were. Dog, that's everyone. Every single fan base is exactly the same, to be honest with you. The VTuber fan base, the VTuber fan base is like if Twitter and Reddit had a meeting. No, sorry. If 4chan, Twitter, and Reddit were shoved in a room together. That's what the VTuber fan base is. Because the thing is, right, it's hard to say, for example, that you're a fan of someone like Pipkin Pippa. Because then you're going to get a bunch of... Because then you also have to acknowledge that the Pippa fan base is so bad that in the FaZe Connect server, you go in there and like every other section of the FaZe Connect server treats the Capipulus like they're a disease, a scourge that needs to be purged. It's just every fan base has those flaws, right? The VTuber fan base is not exempt to this at all. Any anime fan base is not exempt to this. I struggle to think of a fan base that is not going to have a certain number of freaks in them. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm drained. I grow tired. Oh my god. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm kind of tired. The Pumpkin Pumper all right. Oh, man. I think I'm kind of burned out. Heartbeam. Heartbeam. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of drained out of my mind. I'm kind of exhausted. I might do another one of these. Maybe. Just ranting about different topics. I might ask for like anything else you guys want from me though. I'm not gonna have the the outro screen for this one. Pumpkin spice donuts coming soon? No. Can we have a whimsy stream at some point? Just stimming? Maybe. I'll consider it. Oh, Pumpkin Pumper. Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay. No, Pumpkin Pumper's fan base is really a trap. Fly trap. Like, again, it's another situation where it's like, I don't want to say I was a K-On fan. But yeah, I might have another one similar to this. I kind of like these vertical streams. Might be a little different, you know? You were moved? Yeah. I need more energy to reload so I can be angrier next time. Oh my god. Yep. So, again, I'm gonna work on trying to get the new video out this Sunday. If I have to push it, I'll push it to Monday. The members will get it first no matter what. I really hope that when it comes out, you guys give it support, because I did work really hard on it. But yeah. Thank you guys for coming. Just rewatch Cake Station animation to create whimsy? Maybe, perhaps. Yeah. Wushim Zero was moved to the vertical position.